Thanks, Tiffany. So I'm here at CRC Community College, Consumers River College, with Professor Laura Woods. How you doing today, Laura?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
So, of my knowledge of this topic, is it true that the communication model is a representation of how humans communicate with one another?
Yes, the communication model is a tool for students to use to better understand how they can communicate with one another. Let me actually draw you a picture of what the communication model looks like. So first we have the box. The box is the framework, the context. It can be historical, physical, or psychological. It's what the message, the communication is going to be about. And then inside the box, we have the S. The S stands for the sender. In this case, I'm the sender relaying messages to you. And the M is that message that I'm sending to you. Then we have the C. The C is the channel. It's how the receiver decodes the message being sent to them. And R is the receiver. In this case, you receiving messages from me. And then we have the E. The E stands for encoding. It's how I'm relaying the message to you. It can be verbally or non-verbally. Verbally, I'm literally telling you what I want you to know. Non-verbally can be me doing something as subtle as just writing what I want you to know. And then there's D.
So does the D stand for decoding, like decoding a message from one another?
Yes, just like encoding, the D stands for how the receiver understands the message being relayed to them. And that can be done verbally and non-verbally as well. And then we have the F, which stands for the fact that all human communication is a transactional process. There's actually principles of communication as well. The first is that communication cannot not take place. No matter what, we are communicating among each other, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. And then there's the fact that communication is irreversible and unretrievable. Once it's out there, you can't get it back. It's out there. They've heard it, and that's that. And then there's the fact that it is a learned process. You're born being able to communicate, but you can't communicate effectively. You cry for what you want, but once you get older, you learn better ways to effectively communicate.
Well, is there more to this C or this channel?
Yes, the C is a little more difficult to understand. The C is what the message has to go through for the receiver to understand it. The sender sends it, and it goes through things such as sounds. There's noise in the channel. The first noise in the channel is ambient sound. That's environmental sound. That's actual physical sound. You don't hear what they're saying. And then there's physical. And then there's semantic and syntactic sound. And that's when the receiver doesn't understand what the sender is saying, such as their vocabulary. And then there's psychological. Psychological is when the receiver kind of gets lost in space and it kind of wanders off and doesn't understand what the sender is saying.
Okay, so is it also true you can use a communication model in groups, Laura?
Yes, this doesn't work just between two people. Within groups, everybody's communicating with one another, and this is how they do it, whether it be to one person or several different people.
Okay, thank you for your time, Laura.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Tiffany.